Welcome to my apiary. Well, it's harvest time. I think it's the 25th of August. Time is going really fast. It's hard to know sometimes. I'm going to try to set some escapes here today. And what you can't see on camera is I'm wearing pants. So you know if I'm wearing pants, things are getting serious. The bees get really cranky this time of year. I would not imagine that there's a flow. All indications are that there is not. However, I do see pollen coming in. There is a reasonably nice little alfalfa bloom going on here. And 25th of August for alfalfa nectar is not unheard of. That's not that late. So what I intend to do here is to lift these 3 boxes. There's 3 boxes on nearly all of these colonies. Some didn't quite get 3. So I want to lift those 3 boxes and put in one of my bee escapes. I've got mostly these triangle style. I've got a couple of the conical style there. And one of my concerns when I do that sometimes is that, particularly with this style, they're not very deep. And so there's not that much space for the bees to go into. I'm going to try a shim. I've got a shim here, I think that's 2 inches. And I'll set that escape on top of that shim and set it in there thusly. I've got, if you watch previous videos, I've got some screws poking out of these shims. You can see that screw right there. And there's another one on the other side here. Let's see, right there. I guess you can see it. And so that just gives a purchase point so that things don't slide around too much. And I'm sort of stalling here because I'm a little scared. This could go poorly. But I guess there's really nothing more to do than just to do it. I know they're going to pound me. So lots of smoke, and we'll get to it here. Look at this. You know it's serious. I'm wearing pants and I'm wearing gloves. I've been wearing gloves, I think, all summer. But anybody who has more than a year of experience with bees, you know what happens. Okay, let's take a quick look in here. I should have brought my smoker along, but we'll just lift that up. And a few bees on the lid. Now, what I did here earlier is I put, I'll start by saying I expect these top boxes to perhaps be light. For one thing, I ran a lot of new frames and new foundation this year. So you can see they've drawn that really nice. Not quite all the way. That's when the flow ran out. So that's actually not a bad box. This is the frame that I brought up when I put this box on. So it'll be the best frame. Oh, I can't even lift it. It's quite fat. So that's good. That's a decent box. Sometimes if this box is quite light, what I'll do is instead of a shim, I'll just move that box to the bottom. I'll take that box off, set it aside, lift the honey boxes, stick that one on top of the queen excluder, put the escape on top of the light box, then put the honey boxes, the full honey boxes on top of the escape. But for this shot, I'm going to lift that whole stack of 3. Got my back saver 6100. A little bit of a failure here. The screw fell out of the switch, so it's going to be challenging to operate. I have to hold the switch, both fingers on a finger on each side. So get those locked in the handholds, and just a bit of pressure and crack it free. And that is free. They were attacking my microphone, so I sprayed Honey Bandit on it. And now all I can smell is Honey Bandit. Okay, so let's get this up here. Let's give him a little squirt. Keep him settled down a little bit. This is where it would be handy to have 2 people. However, if you do it right, this machine will accommodate. Because you can balance it if you're careful. And quick, because it is sinking a little bit. Stick this contraption in here. Set that on top. Okay. Just like that. If they all go that easy, then today will be a very good day. And if they actually work. Sometimes in the cold weather, no flow, they don't work very well. I think if I built these escapes again, I would build that shim in, because it really seems to help. I like to look at the first few, get an idea what the yard looks like, what's been going on. Holy smokes. Sure as heck full of bees. They've done pretty good here. They've done pretty good. They're sure streaming in. Wow. This is the worst part, getting it to break free. This is where people ask, are plastic queen excluders better or worse? And in this context, I'd say the metal work better. They seem to break free better. Of course, they don't bend as easily, so that definitely helps. Let's see what happens. Another set of hands, sure would be nice. Get somebody to crack that free while you lift on it. Now, I'm pointed downhill here a little bit, so I'm gonna have to move this over and set it down. It sure is heavy. Gotta tip back. Oh, come on. Doesn't want to tip back. I didn't bring any empty boxes with me, which was an error. I know you can see that, but trust me, it wasn't easy. And you know, I don't have to lift all three. I could take them one or two at a time. These certainly are heavy. I can see the fence is going to be a problem again this year. I was closer to it last year, but still not very far from it. Okay. Oh boy. So you can see that's not a complete non-issue. It still takes a lot of effort. And with that switch the way it is, I have a hard time setting the box down exactly the way I want. This is that conical style. See, it has the cones under the screen. The idea is to give them more of a sense of access to the honey at the screen than the actual path they can actually get through. These don't need a shim as badly because they have more depth here under the screen, but I'll put it on anyway. I've done two and I'm pooped already. I'm going to work along this side, see how I make out. Boy, I almost got my thumb in there. This thing, it sinks down slowly when it gets a lot of weight on it. Better than lifting deeps twice. Take a look in here after the fact. Oi, oi, oi. Sweat on my veil, I can't see. So lots of bees. And they've drawn that out nice. Very good. I always want to take care of the guard bees. I forget about that a lot. They're the ones that'll come and get you. It's going down by itself. Just wait on it. That's apparently the difference between a winch and a hoist. A winch doesn't necessarily have a brake. A hoist, when you lift a hoist, it has a positive lock brake. Keeps the load from sinking. But that's a whole different ballgame. Got my arrows pointing up. And when I'm all done the yard, I've found before I did that I'd be all done the yard, I'd be admiring my work, and then having second thoughts about whether or not I got the escapes the right way up. So I put an arrow pointing up so that I could check my work. It does help out. It does sit there, not by much, but it does sit there. The other way is harder because slightly downhill the other way. It doesn't seem to want to sit as nicely. Can't hang on to the handle and press the switch at the same time. I saw that was loose too, and I forgot to tighten it. Curious about this one too. Yeah, quite a few bees and quite a bit of honey. Can't complain about that. That up switch looks like it's getting less reliable. I don't know. It was always been hard to press, but seems like it's getting even harder to press. Look at this jacket. It's not even elastic around the bottom. I think there was at one time, but it's not even very old. I don't think I've had it a year. So I can't let go of it to push the button. So in a way, that sinking thing really is a bonus in that regard. Yeah, I think the switch is going. If I push it real hard, it doesn't work. Push it not as hard, and it works. That to me is a sign of a switch that's failing. It seems to work really good smoking them real good when you just crack it. And when you lift it off, there's hardly any bees there. Just kind of the idea, right? Got a really good lungful of that smoke just now. All in all, I like this machine. I'm getting a little more comfortable with it, a little more adept, a little smoother in how to use it. I don't think there's very many improvements I could make. The guy makes them pretty smart, and he's done a lot of iterations to perfect it, to improve it at least. Perfection, that's a pretty strong word. I've lifted 4 full supers with this thing. Power-wise, is no problem. But it just becomes pretty unwieldy. It takes a lot of effort. So if I have more than 3, I'll bring an empty box and lift the top off and set it aside. It's just not worth it. There's so much effort involved that you might as well lift them by hand if you're going to go through that much effort. Because don't forget, look at where the handles are here. I'm 6'4". Judge for yourself. So I mentioned that sometimes I'll put a a box on the bottom instead of this shim. That works really well. But if there's any honey that you want to harvest in that box, then you're doing this again. And you got to figure out how you're going to, are you going to come back with an escape under that box? Are you going to leaf blower the bees out? Or are you going to fume board stopped working very well because you need to have a sunny day. Escapes stopped working real well too because you need a flow. It's a difficult season. I mean, worst comes to worst, you got a leaf blower, but boy, I hate that method. I'd rather sweep them with a bee brush, and that's really good time to get stung and very time consuming. Hard to do when there's robbing late in the season. Just a lot of things going against you. Not having any luck here. Having some trouble with the switch. It's not wanting to engage every time. But I'm not worried. Manufacturer's a good man. I know him personally. And you're never stuck when you buy something from him. You make it right. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Nothing he did wrong. Just a switch, Always nervous. It doesn't balance there by a lot. So I'm always a little nervous. I've never had it fall over though, so I guess I'm doing it right. Not looking forward to the other side, right up close to that fence. One guy said, I'm having trouble right in that fence, and the guy said, oh, that's no problem. All you do is you take a one string of the fence down. And I said, well, there's two problems with that. It's not my fence. And secondly, it's page wire. You can't tear part of a page wire fence down. Chicken fence. There's chickens in there sometimes. There's some weight there. They've been busy. Okay, just don't fall over. If it falls over, I get my hands trapped in here. Then I'll be up the creek. There's only two here. Won't be as heavy. Have to lift those higher though to balance them. Not a very big colony. Let's see how much honey they produced. It's 2 boxes, so maybe they didn't produce much at all. There's not much in here. Not much for bees, and not much for honey. Yeah, There's one good box of honey there, but that's it. So this colony, I don't know if they're just lagging or something wrong with them or what. We'll figure that out when we take the honey away. Come on, you. Sit there and click. These ones are really riled up. Okay, stay up there, you. These are pretty well behaved for the most part. Once in a while, one of the hives gets all cranked up, but pretty pleased. 14 degrees, things could be way different. Way different. Oh, I don't like walking in the alfalfa. This farmer is really good to me. Every alfalfa plant is sacred this year. I need that switch to work about another 18 times today. Here you go, honeybees. Here's some more equipment for you. Lovingly made in my wood shop. Yeah, I gotta make sure the feed plugs are intact because this will be unprotected honey. That one's kind of light. Well, go back to the honey house. Spin out what there is there. This thing is pretty easy to use once you kind of catch on to the process. Except that switch isn't working. It's pointing downhill, so I gotta go a lot higher to make this thing kind of balance. Even then, it's tricky. Oh, I pushed those boxes over on the other side. That's not good. Good at all. That's the trouble. Now the other side isn't glued down. Give your hive tool a big push and it goes all the way in and slam your thumb in there. That hurts. Clean excluder came up. Yeah, this is where it gets exciting. Or how hard it would be to design some kind of a lock to keep it from sinking like that. Sometimes that sinking is okay, to lower it slowly kind of thing, but often it's not what you want at all. Oh, there goes the smoker. Good thing it's a good American-made smoker. It's just that lifter squeaking on the polystyrene. That's as high as it goes. Boy, that is not balanced by much. Setting these escapes with one hand is a little bit harder to do. Not a big deal if you only had an escape, but a shim you have to hold that too. Okay, well, no more shims, so I don't have that problem. And a moa. And a moa, that comes from a routine by John Panette. You want to see something funny? John Panette, boy. That guy was hilarious. Passed away a couple of years ago or so. The handle grabber deal works good, but you have to have it adjusted properly. No more shims, so a little easier, I guess. You ever see your bees with I assume it's a pollen. They look like a skunk. They got a white stripe down their head and their back. I see that almost every year. Gotta be some kind of a flower that they have to stick their head down in or something. It looks pretty funny. Oh, I think this is the one. The frames are all stuck or something. I hate those. The bees hate that too. Stick your hive toy in there to fix it. They get really cranky. Sounds like it's slowing down. Got my escape ready again. Well, I hope it charge lasts. I think it will, but should have one left in my hand. I'm tired already. when I got this lifter, there was actually no stop at the top, and the cage would come right out the top. Pretty dangerous. So I put a bolt in each side. Now it won't come out. It really won't come out because I needed a bolt that was threaded to the head, so fairly short bolt. I looked and looked in the shop. The only thing I could find was two, I don't know what they are, 1/2 inch. I think they're 1/2 inch bolts. Grade 8. So it's really not going to come out of there. It's really not going to break it off. Use what you got, right? Run to the store for every little thing. Oh, push that one off too. I like these 7/8 boxes, a little more leeway in aligning them without having gaps. Like 3/4 boxes are more critical in that regard. Very pleased with how well behaved the bees have been. You get down to about the second last one or last one, then they just pound you. Just a little going away present. Oh, glad you came. Here's something to remember us by, big guy. Oh, don't wimp out on me now. We've got 4 more to do. I think that 12.5 it still says on the gauge. There's a little solar panel charger on here. It doesn't charge very fast, but it'll charge some as you go if you leave it pointed toward the sun. I'm gonna leave that short one. If this thing runs out of juice, I'd rather lift that one by hand than a tall one. Oh shit. That's how you kill queens and you get stung really bad. Now quickly, I gotta get that off of there. And with one hand, get this frame back in. A chance to look in there, but hope the queen's not on it. That is not my first choice of how to manage a hive. Under the circumstances with one hand, not all you can expect. It's not as high as I'd like. Therefore, it's not balanced as much as I'd like. It's getting worse as it sinks. Okay, so the last one, there's only 2 boxes, so my diminishing power should still do the job. I knew it wasn't quite fully charged. I've never charged it. It always just charges in the sun. So I probably should have put a charger on it. It's always 12 to 13 volts on the display, which is normal and normally enough. The smoker's almost out, but this is the last one. Nice and light, but then again, the name of the game is honey, right? So light does not cut it. Light is not what you want. I might take a quick look in that one. I'll have to mark these little ones for inspection. Yeah, there's nothing in here that I didn't leave in there. Okay, we're done. As you can imagine, this thing actually weighs quite a bit. I'll show you how I stow it and get it in the truck here. That up switch will work. So I just bring it up so that the cage is the same height there as the top of the unit. Flip these arms up. Just snug them so they don't come off. I suppose you could just take them off, but that works as well. And then this little bungee, you can do the bungee in a bunch of different ways, but I just kind of hook it on the eye there and hook it around the top, because it's only gravity holds it down and it'll come whistling up. I just tip it down. Whoop, a little closer. Tip it down so that the cage is kind of up at the tailgate. And then grab the axle and up into there. Again, you know, that thing does not make all of your worries go away. It does not make pulling honey or setting escapes a complete non-issue. It just does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Okay, one out yard, set and escapes. I have probably twice that many or maybe even more at home to set, but they don't all have 3 boxes. Some have 4. A lot of them have 1 and 2. A lot of them don't have any because there were splits this year. So those will be a piece of cake for honey harvest because there won't be any. Yeah, I'm pooped. So 2 videos in 2 days. That's pretty good for me, eh? You haven't heard from me for a month. Well, that's all that's going on. Nothing crazy interesting. And there's going to be more of this. These escapes. Today's Thursday. I would usually check those in a couple days. However, it's been raining a lot lately. Today is kind of an unusually dry day, but next week is supposed to be a little more dry weather, a stretch of dry weather. So a little bit warmer temperatures. The bees will be out flying more. That might help clear the escapes. I need to come back here and make sure the feed plugs are covered. And I'll likely come back, Monday, Tuesday, and check them anyway. And if they're not ready, then I'll leave them a while yet. Not too much of a problem leaving them for a week. I think the last ones were on there for a week, and they cleared quite well. So that's the plan. There's probably 2,500 pounds of honey here, which is nice. Little under average from the drought. Normally, a yard like this, I get 3,000 or a little more. But that's just my guess. That's my guess in this yard. I do track my yards as I extract, so I'll be able to see how many pounds came off of this yard once I extract. And that'll be another day. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. And have a great day and have fun.